This trail that Paul and I just rode up on has a slimy, wet, dead log here that is definitely above the height that we're going to get over on the Africa Twin and the Tenere 700. Also, we're in a slope, so we're coming in on this log at a diagonal slope. We're not getting over this log. We need to get this thing turned around. So I have a plan. This is a perfect example of a place to do a side stand pivot. I have plenty of room to swing the back of the bike down. Also, because the bike is on the uphill side, when I put the side stand down, the bike's already going to start leaning onto the side stand. So it's almost vertical. It takes me almost zero energy to get this bike up and pivoted. And it takes very little effort now to pull the bike towards me and get that side stand straight up and down. I don't want any angle on it or else I can damage the side stand. Once it leads into me, I can grab the back of the bike, pivot the bike around, and when I set it down, the tires are going downhill, which makes it really easy to take it off the side stand so I can get out of here and go the other direction.
Normally I would dismount to the high side, that's what I tell people, but in this case I'm going to dismount to the low side and get on the downhill part because I want gravity to pull it back down the hill. So I'm going to rest it against my hip down here so that I don't have to hold it up, pull in the clutch, let gravity roll it backwards but not too far into this soft squishy stuff. What happens now? And I could get on, but in this case, it might just be easier to walk it out. Because if I sit my big old butt down on this thing and start digging a hole, it might be there a while. And I want to save that energy.
This is one of the most fun ways to get turned around on a trail, but if you're on a big adventure bike with a bunch of luggage, this isn't going to be your thing. If you're out playing, this is a lot of fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slide turn the corner. I'm going to start all the way back here. This is where my braking begins. I'm going to lock that back brake. I'm going to get the bike into a good, solid, stable slide. As I approach the point here where I have a nice wide flat area, I'm going to get that bike kicked over to the side and underneath me. The farther it is underneath me, the more that bike's going to pivot around. As it comes all the way around and the front tire starts to point in the new direction, I'm going to add power, pop the clutch, get the back end to spin out, pull the clutch back in so I'm still in control, and then feather the clutch back out as I ride back on down the trail.
As I roll into this corner, I'm going to go ahead and dismount the bike and walk it through the turn because I don't ride like a hooligan. I'm going to lean the bike into my hip, start turning the direction I want it to go, and then just walk the bike through the turn. Folks, where most of us are going to make a mistake is right here at the beginning. Once you're off the bike and you lean it into you, don't try to break the tire loose right away. Start walking through the turn. When you get about halfway through, we just need to break the tire loose to slide that last little bit. It's an adjustment to get pointed back where we want to go. If I'm still pointed down the trail, it'll launch, and it makes it very tough, especially doing it from a dead stop. Having that momentum, it'll break loose a little easier. Now, I'm going to get the bike restarted. If you've got traction control, make sure it's turned off or else this won't work. Lean the bike a little deeper into the hip, give it some throttle, and now I just bump the clutch. As soon as I get pointed where I want to go, the clutch comes right back in so I can arrest it. Now from here, I'm pointed where I want to go. I can remount and ride off. coming up the trail, I know I got to turn around. Don't know how much space I got, so this is where I do my rolling dismount. Once I get off the bike, I'm going to lean the bike down into my hip, turn the handlebars, and then I'm going to use the power of the bike to walk it through the corner. Once I get it around the corner and point it back out where I want, then I use Bret's awesome poser skill and remount the bike from the side and continue riding. Pro tip, folks, where we're going to screw this up when we first try this, we're going to be standing to the inside of the bike. You're going to lean it into your hip, but you're going to stay on this side. The problem with this, my legs are too close. When my legs start getting tangled up in the foot pegs and the luggage, it's going to cause problems and the bike could fall away, and we're going to be working too hard. Lean the bike into your hip so that you're supporting it with your hip. Your legs end up going to the outside and you form kind of this walking side stand to support the bike. That leaves my hands free to operate the controls and I'm not wrestling with the darn thing. If I keep my head and my upper body across the top of the bike, when you look at this from the top, it should look like I'm still riding.
I'm going to do a basic U-turn. I'm going to do a slow approach because traction here is fairly limited. Once I get into my position, I'll let the bike roll underneath me. I'm going to look over my shoulder, and then I'm going to use the clutch to control my speed. I'll give a few revs at the throttle. That'll help give some stability for the bike. Also, those revs will keep the bike from stalling. Every time Paul and I take a group out, whether it's here at Penmerle Farms in Virginia where we're teaching a class, down at Iron Mountain, Georgia, or Nepal, we always run into one specific skill set that people struggle with. And that's just how to turn around on a trail. And we showed you a couple different methods. It's not the only ways. There's a lot of different factors involved on what you might do. So it depends. Yeah, it does depend. There's a lot of variables that go into this. Where we're at, what's the traction like, what's the terrain like, what's the incline like, am I on a narrow trail, do I have a wide trail? So there's always variables, but the bottom line is you got to go into this with a plan. You don't just rip in there and go, I'm going to do it and practice this one trail turn because that's going to work every time, because I'm afraid it won't, folks. The other element to keep in mind when you're out practicing this stuff is that attitude matters. If you go after this and you just have a pissy attitude to start off with, man, I hate this and my bike's too heavy and it's muddy and this sucks, you're never going to have fun with it. Go out and just spend time turning around on trails. Go find dead ends, try different methods. Paul and I were coming up into different situations and each of us were choosing a different method to get through it. All that matters is get through it. And attitude does matter, because if you're being pissy with us, I'm going to make a whole bunch of wrong turns and you're going to keep doing trail turns until it starts being fun. Just saying. Thanks for watching the channel. Make sure you hit subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell or you won't be notified when new videos come out. If you're a huge fan of this channel, it's completely 100% supported by Patreon supporters. We have no sponsors, so consider joining us. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Love you, folks. Take care.